Hello friends, welcome to today's video, or if you're new, hi, welcome. My name is Tanya. If we have not met, I am a reader who's originally from Ukraine, but I live in Minnesota now, and I love talking about books and all different kinds. And in today's video, I'm doing one of my ARC specific videos. If you are new to my channel, something that I started doing this year is if I'm fortunate enough to receive an ARC, and my goal is to try to create ARC review videos just so these videos don't get lost in the wrap up and the shuffle of all of that, and give you my honest reviews. I will always do that whether I like the book or not. I am very grateful for the ARC, and so that is what we are doing today. Today we are going to be reviewing and talking a little bit about the new Katherine Center book called The Love Haters. And so yeah, let's get into it. I also would appreciate it if you enjoy this video, if you want to support a small booktuber, that you consider subscribing down below. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really does support me and my channel. So thank you all so much. And yeah, let's get into this review. So like I mentioned, I received the ARC, The Love Haters by Katherine Center. And if you have not read anything by her, Katherine Center mainly does a lot of romance slash kind of like women's fiction books. And she's written books like The Bodyguard and Hello Stranger. Those I think are kind of her main, most like popular books. And I have read those as well in the past. So I was very excited to read her new book, which is again called The Love Haters. This is being released, I'll put the information down below on the screen from what I currently can find, but I believe it is coming out May 20th, and like I said, it is a romance book. So this story follows Katie, and she is a video producer, or like video, I think that's what it would be called. She essentially creates videos. I don't know if I'm explaining that job, but she creates like motivational videos and productions of videos for like companies, things like that. That is her job. And her job is currently at a bit of a risk. Their company has been downsizing a lot, and so she's just really feeling the pressure of like, I'm gonna get voted off too, or not voted off, this is not an island, but she's gonna get like fired from her job, which obviously she does not want. And at the same time, she's also just struggling kind of with herself. She has recently like gone through just a bad relationship, what you also find more about in the story. And she's just struggling since having gone through that. So that is on top of her situation with work. And so while she's at her job, her coworker, I almost would say he's kind of her supervisor in a way, is Cole. And he tells her, hey, we have this new job and I'm sending you to go do it. And it is to follow and film kind of a motivational or like a video about this Coast Guard rescue swimmer named Tom Hutch. So he goes by Hutch, and he is kind of known as this like love hater. He's kind of grumpy, rough around the edges, but you're supposed to go and film a video about just kind of what he does as a rescue swimmer at the Coast Guard, all those kinds of things, and produce a video about him. And she's just kind of like, I guess, okay. But on top of that, Hutch is also Cole's brother. And so Katie's kind of like, well, why don't you go? He's your brother. Like, I don't understand, you know, why are you sending me? But he's like, nope, I don't want to go. I need you to go and make this video. And she's a little bit nervous, kind of freaking out, because one, she doesn't even know how to swim. And a lot of this video production, a lot of this job would be out on the water, in the helicopter, things like that, in the pool, all those things around water, because again, he is a rescue swimmer, right? So she's kind of like, I don't even know how to swim, but I'm really desperate to keep my job. And so, okay, I'll go. So she goes to Key West under kind of false pretenses, but she goes there. And so when she arrives to Key West, I think this was one of my favorite parts, is I loved the setting of when she gets there. It's in this little, think of like Golden Girls. They're called the Gals, and it is Cole's and Hutch's aunt, and she has this kind of like retirement little village for her and these other friends of hers that they live there. And it's just a very cool village. Like, I was thinking when I was reading this, I was like, I would love to just live with these elderly ladies and just swim by the pool, hang out, wear fun colored clothing, and just live and be happy in the sun. Like, it just seemed wonderful. I was like, I would love to do this. And so when she goes to Key West, she obviously meets Hutch, and he is a little bit rough around the edges, and you find out like why he is the way he is, and different things in their romance obviously ensues. Now, I will say there is a bit more to this story, a lot of different subplots that I guess I wasn't anticipating there to be so many. And I will say overall, I did really enjoy this story. I ended up rating it about a 3.75 out of 5. Pretty still solid rating for me. I think the reason, again, for why I rated it that way and my justification is that maybe I misunderstood it, maybe that's more me, but I thought it was going to be more romance focused because it's a romance book, unless I'm understanding it wrong. But let me explain that. So in the story, like I mentioned, obviously there's a romance between Katie and Hutch that ensues because, you know, they're working together, but there are also a lot of side characters and side plots that are happening. So there is an explanation and backstory to Hutch and his brother Cole and why they're not really communicating in the dynamic that's there. So that is one subplot. Then you also have the subplot, she's going on this journey of self-discovery about herself and like her body and being more comfortable in who she is, which is very interesting. But that is also another, I would say a major, this would be almost like the second subplot that's pretty major in this story. There's also a subplot of a past tragedy that occurred between Rue, their aunts, and their parents, and the history with that. So that is another subplot. And then obviously I would almost say like another mini subplot is with the work dynamic and Cole and Katie and all these things. So having said that, I think all of their subplots, they are interesting. Don't get me wrong, there wasn't one where I was like, oh, this is lame. I liked all of them. They were interesting. But to me, it felt like a little bit almost much in one book, or at least in the amount of pages that it is, maybe if it was a little bit of a larger book. But to me, I felt like there wasn't as much focus of that romance between Hutch and Katie that I personally would want to see more of in a romance book and a love story, I guess you would say. But having said that, the plots and the sections of the story where Katie and Hutch were together and we were able to see them kind of develop and grow more in their relationship, I loved. I love Hutch as the male main character. I love that he, you know, just him as a person and how he talks to Katie and how he understands her and tells her the things that I feel like the things that she needs to hear to really heal and just move on from the past experiences that she's had. I love that. But I just feel like there wasn't enough of it for me, again, for a romance book. I hope that makes sense. One of the things that I really love about this book is that I really loved all the different side characters. I felt like they had really good plots, really good stories, and I honestly loved reading about the side characters. Sometimes, you know, in books, you're kind of like, oh, I don't want to hear about this, get back to the main character. But I did not feel that way about this book. I liked learning more about the aunt, about a little bit more about the different gals that were in the Key West village. And one other side character that I really also love is that there is a giant Great Dane. So if you are someone who loves animals, especially puppies and dogs in books, I loved the Great Dane in here. He was just so sweet. So definitely also keep that in mind when getting into the story. I liked learning more about the past. It's just, again, I just felt like maybe it didn't go into depth as much as I wanted to in more of that romance. So having said that, I definitely would still recommend this book, especially maybe if you are someone who's the opposite of me and maybe you're kind of like not super, you don't like books that are super heavy in romance. You may actually love this more so than I did, and you might find it, you love that balance. So definitely check it out, especially if you've read her other books and you're a fan of her writing. I still think Katherine Center does a really great job of just having beautiful writing, and I really do enjoy it, and I'm curious to see what else she comes out with in the future. And I'm just really excited that I have read this book. But I would say that maybe I have enjoyed her past couple books a little bit more than this one. just again for the reasons that I stated. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you take the chance to maybe read this book when it comes out in a few weeks. And if you have read Katherine Center, please comment down below which of her books was your favorite. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.